Oh, yeah. Two of a kind. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Together.
It's the
Pumpkin Unicorn.
Punk Unicorn
Podcast
with
Nicky D.
Mama K.
Hey. Okay. Sorry for all that aggression right away
yeah.
at the beginning. But
You'll understand as the podcast goes on. Ooh, you're dripping.
I know I'm already wet.
Oh my.
I know, I'm like
Please
making
hold.
sure it's on and record. Yep, it's all perfected.
Okay. So before we dive into our actual podcast today, we need to address.
Ooh.
We really freaking hate the fact that this needs to be addressed. However,
I'm just making sure I don't have side boob.
I thought you was tweaking your nippies.
No.
That's what I saw out of my side vision.
I have pasties on today.
So we are on episode 15.
Look at that, sluts!
15. Episode 15. Now, let's talk about 15 episodes. Now,
A long, long time ago.
we don't have a whole shit ton of followers, but it's a lot more than 3. Just saying.
It's 140.
Just on one platform. We
Yes,
have
that's on
almost 2K on TikTok.
Ooh.
Top.
On the TikTok.
On the TikTok.
The TikToks.
So, in those 15 episodes, nothing is scripted the same.
No, we don't even have scripts. That's literally part
We
of
have
our
no.
title.
We have notes. We have
Right.
notes.
We have
and
notes. Talking points.
there are things that we discuss prior to filming, and then there are things that we withhold on purpose because we want the other one's reaction to whatever this is. Like,
Right,
okay,
it's like, oh,
right, we do that a lot. We're like, okay, I have this, but we'll discuss that on the pod because I want to get your genuine reaction. And those are things that we want to do in order to draw people and make sure that we are genuine and we are not withholding anything. So, having said that, we have to kind of prepare a statement. The other evening there was a gentleman, and I use that term. Anyway, he was on and he was live on there, and during that he had a large mucus extending from
His nose?
his neck.
And,
Well, I'm blocked on all platforms, and that's something we might get into, but we might not. Who freaking knows? Any tits. I wanted to be like, hey man, you should wipe your nose. Well,
so she can't.
can't. I'm blocked. So my son, whom is he's 16, but he's not a baby, and can stand up for himself because his mama taught him that.
Right, yeah. Back in the day, he would have already done a couple stints at Dorothy.
Rikers. So, I said, hey, son, I said, go under that man's Cash App that he's begging for money for and tell him, I said, send him a request for the 300 because he was wanting 300 for a pair of steel-toed boots to start a job yesterday. I'm not sure if he started it or not, but somebody sent him $80 via Cash App. But
right, because when you have tiny feet, you don't need $300 boots.
No, you can go
$80 boots
Walmart.
are okay.
So I said, hey son, send him a request for $280 and tell him just wipe his nose. Well, he was still on the live and he didn't get that message because he hadn't downloaded the app or whatever on his phone, what have you. And yeah, I fully admit, I watch this for entertainment purposes. There are people out there that live in a lie talking about how they don't do that, bitch. I do. I don't care. I am such an open person.
I do what I want.
And you'll find this out as this stupid shit that we got to talk about goes on, that I am such an open book that I make sure you don't fucking have ammo on me. Okay?
Yeah.
Ya morons. So, the next morning he has posted not one but 2 TikToks calling me out.
Like, made me feel special. It's like, thanks for the free marketing, Tina.
Well, and the thing is what I couldn't understand is this gentleman says in his video that our podcast is stupid and that this is a podcast that nobody watches. But then the next breath thanks the podcast for the and I quote, the traffic on my profile has skyrocketed.
Oh, so
which is it?
Yeah, there's 6 of us apparently.
So which is it? So okay, so let's talk about why we're even talking about this in the first place. On episode 3, I talk about this individual. Again, I said 15 episodes. This is episode 15. So this will be the 4th episode in which this asshole is mentioned. Okay? But not mentioned. I'll get to that in a minute. His ego's gotten a little fluffed. Okay? So that's why we're here to set the record a little bit straight. Well, as straight as Nick can get as a homosexual.
Yeah, I don't know how straight it can be. It can definitely be forward, for sure.
So, when I spoke of this person on episode 3, we were talking about grifters and beggars on social media.
Oh, so he was bound to get a little upset.
Well, and I don't know that the point we're trying to make is he's trying to say that this podcast is about him. Well, in all these episodes... So he's maybe saying he's a punk unicorn? He is not a unicorn. You're not being very punk unicorn right now.
No, not at all.
No.
You don't even have pink hair.
But he has been in jail, so and his cheeks are a little sunk in, so he's been doing. See, so hard, guys. It's so hard for me because I know this fool personally, and anyway, so. We have been accused of this being about him. Now, like I said, episode 3, we talk about grifters, and I tell the story that mentions, I tell my version of a story that he happens to be a part of. Like, you can't get mad because I'm telling my story. This is my version. Like, you go tell the idiots that believe you your shit. I'm trying to tell you how I got involved in this horse shit.
A humorous anecdote.
Right, and I mentioned that you had asked where he was from. His name was mentioned a couple times. I say the state where he lives. And nothing, you all, is mentioned from episode 4. And then we get to episode 13. And this is where, I guess, all hell broke loose when it comes to this guy's ego.
A Q&A.
So, again, like I said at the beginning, there are some things that we don't go over prior to filming on purpose. And on episode 13, this fool has set up these questions. And maybe, like, we've talked about this, like, maybe the name Eric was in the back of his mind or something, and he just happened to put it in there. But I never mentioned nor told him about the love triangle until after all this shit blew up. He's trying to get his gay nipples tan at the vacation spot he's at, and I'm over here like, oh my god. No, I wasn't like that. I was like, bitch, what the hell?
Be like, this mother.
Right. So, the Q&A, the only thing about the Q&A that I will admit is once I saw and I'm looking like, I know daggone good and well I didn't tell him these other 2 people's names, and I'm like, there they is. So, the first name is...
Sometimes people don't leave their names, so we just make them up.
We did,
They're just telling a story about them.
These are scripted. Some of them are scripted, but a lot of them aren't. Like, we get a lot of our questions. Like, my best friend is always like, hey, like, I just hung up from her before I came here. I was like, and she's like, hey, I need you to ask, do this on the pod. I was like, okay. But a lot of the time, the majority of the time, like, he'll do the questions a week, I'll do the questions. It just depends. And he had it, and I was reading it, and the first name was like, I was completely oblivious, didn't even think anything of it. So I'm reading it, and then I look at the next name, and I'm like,
oh, Shaniqua.
Like, okay. And then I look down, I see the other name, and I'm thinking, I know damn well he does not know these other names. We have not discussed this topic. And so I'm like, and so when Nick made the comment about the spelling of both of the names, and I'm just like, he really is completely oblivious to what's happening. And I'm trying so hard not to lose my shit. And you see me be like, oh my God, Regina. Regina's an actual person. She's not just I don't just say that like, oh my God, Tina, like he does. Regina, if you are Regina and you're watching, you know why I said Regina. Okay? So we thought this was, so after the pod is over, I'm like, Nick, I gotta tell you something. So I said, there's that name Eric. I said, remember we talked about him? And he's like, I'm like, anyway, see, we're elderly. We are in our mid-40s, like...
And we don't make scripts for the episodes anymore, online, so...
I went through every single episode yesterday to make sure, before I said anything, what had been said. And so after the Q&A, we thought it was such a hilarious coincidence that we just said, fuck it, we're gonna run with it. And we started talking about the Love Shack in Arkansas.
Love Shack!
Baby, Love Shack. Now, having said that, when speaking of the Love Shack in Arkansas, I may or may not have been guilty of putting real life into that story as it pertains to these individuals. Okay? But they live their life live on social media.
Yeah, so it's okay to talk about people like that.
Okay? You live your life you put all your stuff out there. You get on a live feed and boo-hoo beg. What do you expect? Like, come on now. And you say you have stalkers and all this other shit. Or maybe it's just...
It's not stalkers, believe me, because I don't even know your real name.
Well, apparently there's stalkers down there. I don't know.
Down there?
Yeah, where they live. Down south. We can't say it anymore. Oh, that's what I'm getting to. So, what we're going to do is we are going to...
Never mention them again.
The Love Shack is now in Louisiana.
Yeah, it's in Bolton.
I can't say that, so it's in Louisiana.
Sookie and Bill.
And instead of Evan, Becca, and Eric living your lives the way you do, it's now Ethan, Aaron, and Bertha in a Love Shack in Louisiana. The state is different. The names are different. But the bullshit stories are going to be the same because y'all are living them out loud on social media. This ain't about you, but if we want to bring it in, consider it reeled in like a damn bass in the ocean, beach. So, also, let's just say we're going to move on from this a little bit, and wish all the dads out there happy Father's Day.
Oh yeah, happy late Father's Day.
Happy late Father's Day. Yay. Also, I wanted to let you know, if you are at church on Sunday and it's a Father's Day and you don't have a little child sitting next to you or their daddy sitting next to you and the pastor says, all right, children, come up and get a gift for your daddy. Grown women, sit your ass down. That does not mean you. Mm-hmm. You are grown.
Right.
Sit down. both the asses. Amen. Okay, now, moving on.
Could you imagine being at that church?
Oh my God, my eyes would have rolled so far back, they'd have thought it was the rapture.
Oh God.
He'd have been praying for me, holy water in and everything.
Right, like, oh.
And then I would have started laughing. They'd have thought I was possessed. So, Nikki B was on vacation last week.
Oh.
Let's talk about your vacation. Let's talk about something wonderful.
Fun. So we went to the Lake Shores region of Lake Erie. We stayed in Huron. Huron was really cute. It was kind of the size of Phillipsburg, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And all the streets were named after cities in Ohio. And we were on Cincinnati Street.
Oh, cool.
At the end of the road, the last house on the right, not the left. Not the last house on the left, but the right. We had a private beach. 5-bedroom house. Didn't have a hot tub, but it looks like once upon a time it did. The waves coming off of Lake Erie are crazy. Like, in the wintertime, when you look out there, it probably looks like some scary, like, landscape.
Oh my goodness, I love your dog. I have 2 of those at home.
Oh, do you?
Yes, Oatmeal and Ripley.
This is Rex.
Rex, you are handsome as can be. It's a golden retriever. We're shooting a podcast. I'm sorry. I saw a dog. You have a great day. He was going to come up here and hang out.
I know, right?
Like, hey, sexy.
Golden retrievers are smart.
Oh my God, I love it.
So,
yes, your vacation. Sorry, I saw a dog.
We ate at a place called the Jolly Roger, which is my favorite place to eat up there.
Is that the? You sent me pictures of the food.
Fish,
didn't
yeah.
you?
So they have fresh walleye and fresh perch out of Lake Erie. The perch or the walleye was like this big, like as long as like 2 sub sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like 18 inches of heaven. It could have been like the submarine house. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
18 inches of fish.
I don't do fish.
They had scallops. They had clam strips.
I can do that.
They have chicken tenders. They actually had egg salad for old people. I don't know why that's on the menu, but
because some people don't have teeth.
And then everything breaded. You can think of cauliflower, pickles, all that shit. You can sit outside, but if you're from that region, you already know you don't sit outside in June because that's the mayfly season.
Oh.
Yeah.
Were they really bad or just?
Yeah, imagine your worst nightmares from locust season here.
Oh.
And that's what it is up there with mayflies.
I carried a freaking tennis racket around when we had all them circaders or whatever.
Well, the cool thing about the mayflies is if you run through them, they kind of scatter. And you can peel them off of you. They don't bite. They're not poisonous, nothing. But still, those people suffer through that because August and early September, it's like heaven there. Like, as far as, like, beaches go.
I'd be the only house up there that didn't have bugs. I'd have, my husband's an exterminators. And he'd be out there every day.
Most people did. I think some people would get up early and spray their house down to make it look like they didn't have them.
Probably. We don't
just
get.
To be special.
We don't get Margaret Mayflies.
Right,
here.
like don't act like
like the first
see me
and
at
how
4 in
the
morning.
third. Right.
What else was cool? Oh, you could see Cedar Point every night. It looked like a space station out on the water.
Oh, that's cool.
And then you can see Kelly's Island, and then past that is Paley Island, and that's actually in Canada. In Canada. We were only about 23 miles from Canada.
Oh.
Yeah. And then it was cold every night. So even though it's summer...
Because you're by the water.
Yeah, you better take a hoodie because I was freezing every single night we were there.
Yeah.
The best part, the African Wildlife Safari. They have dinosaurs that growl. They move. You can see some really sad gibbons.
You can see that at the nursing home down the street.
I know, right? There was 100-year-old turtles that were 300 pounds. Most likely the same turtle that I fed 25 plus
Probably.
years ago.
Probably.
And then, what else was cool? We got attacked by longhorn cattle, gazelle, African deer. What was the best? Oh, the giraffes and camels were fun.
Oh.
I have pictures of all that, and there might be some expanded content at the end of this podcast when you get it on YouTube.
I saw a video of I think it was a giraffe that picked a kid up out of a convertible.
It couldn't have picked me and Jacob up. It was just the two of us in the car. But, yeah, they're pretty scary. They're massively tall. Like, ridiculously massively tall.
So, did you see anything that made you, like, anybody, like, not properly
Dressed or anything?
shave their pubic areas?
Oh, yeah. There was a lady out cleaning the beach, and she had on her bikini. And you could just tell she was from an era where people didn't shave that. Because you could just see it sticking out like two little gray beards on each side.
Fu Manchu. If her pussy stink, it'd be a Fu Manchu.
Right, and she's just out there sweeping the beach, like getting the debris off the beach and putting in the trash cans and looking for snail shells because the waves have been crazy the night before.
Hippie lady.
Yeah.
God bless you and your bushy vagina.
I know, she was hot though.
So we have, I'm going to withhold some names, but we'll change the names for privacy issues. We have some friends who we had went to a water facility several years ago, and my whole family was there, and a couple of my family members was, and I, of course I didn't know this till after, they was like trying to get my attention, like, you know, like trying to, but I was just like, you know, I had, you know, had breakfast with a bowl of the Lord's lettuce, and I was just floating around, you know. Well, I had two friends. We're gonna call them Wendy and Mindy. And Mindy has a very, or had, may she rest in eternal peace, had a very gruff, loud, booming voice, and there was no whisper on her.
So she was basically like Dorothy from the Golden Girls.
Oh yeah,
Ma!
Yeah, she was very, yeah. So we had two other friends named Henry and Etta. Henry with an I because it was a girl. So Henry was sisters with Etta. Now Etta had not properly trimmed the boosh, okay? And everybody was trying to show me the lack of trimitude, and it was taking them forever. Like, everybody saw it, but nobody wanted to say anything. And finally I realized, and I'm like, ugh. And
It's like, oh,
Etta is,
señorita.
she's not her, God love her. So anyway, I am sitting next to Wendy and Mindy, right? Remember, Mindy ain't got no chill. And I'm like, girls, why the hell did Henry let Etta walk out of the house looking like that? And they're like, looking like what? And they're only focusing up here. And I'm like, y'all need to travel low, right? About the time they did, oh, Mindy was like, oh my God, get over here, Henry! Why? Why would you do that? Why would you let her walk out? And people everywhere was talking about it, and I'm just,
They're like, look at her cuda. Oh my God.
yeah. But we weren't like, you know, trying to bully her or anything like adult bullies or bullies in school. You remember like when you were in school and like you were all sitting at the table, right? You're all sitting at the table together, and somebody's like making plans for the weekend, right? And telling everybody, right?
But there's always like one person at the table who's like, you didn't invite me.
Well,
It's like, bitch, I talked about it in front of you.
so the thing is This person says, okay, well, this weekend we're going to go to the asylum. We're going to do blow off hookers' butts and da-da-da-da-da. And everybody's like, da-da-da, yeah. Even you are like, yeah. And then don't nobody follow up with you on these plans. And then you get to school on Monday and you realize that they're talking about all the fun they had over the weekend doing what they talked about, and you were the only one singled out. Bitches, that happens as adults too. Here, the part I like is back here I'd have been like, oh my God, what did I do? And now I'm like, bitch,
You listen out.
fuck off. You are not what you think you is, or what I think you is. You ain't none of that.
It's like eventually, as you get older, you can't sit at home anymore, so you start doing stuff by yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, you're like, I ripped that.
Oh, yeah, I
cherry
need a new
gland
one. This
right
one-
out.
I need
I'll
a
see if
new
I can get
one.
some new ones. We'll get those old school ones from like the 1800s, like the ledger book. Like,
Right, pill and ink and quill or whatever.
Right. Today, I
So
suffer greatly.
what was I saying? Okay, so in celebrity news, you know the MTV show, The Teen Moms?
Yeah, isn't one of the first season girls, kid, now on the show now?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to research that.
I think so. I think I heard somewhere that one of the
That would be
girls that's
interesting.
on the show now, her mom was on the show with her.
I'll be damned. Could be. Well, I'm talking about from one of the original cast, Amber Portwood, her fiance, Gary, not to be confused with the Gary that she shares her daughter with. They was engaged. Well, Gary came up amiss, and like not long after their he
She
proposed.
killed him?
Well, no. He took off running in the woods like that Adam Sandler movie Jack and Jill. When Jill gets upset, she just goes off in the woods with her bird. And she went off in the woods, maybe flipping the bird.
No.
I don't know. He did. He went off, and then they couldn't find him
Was
for
it
like
that
a week.
scary forest in Japan?
No, I think it was in Tennessee or some shit. I don't fucking know. So he took off running into the
Tennessee.
woods. And I don't quote me on that. I just said Tennessee first thing.
When
came
guys run off in the woods, that usually means they gate out at some local motel with poppers and other things.
Makes sense.
I was in the woods
But
just
then-
exploring myself.
All of a sudden, after a few days, he calls and says, "Hey, I'm okay. I just needed to run in the woods, man.
I had to
And
get my
then-
gay out.
Get my gay out."
Had to get the gay out before I could
Pray out the gay out.
I found Jesus.
And then 2 days later, they broke up, so maybe he didn't pray it all out. I don't know.
For real, he brought it to the surface like a geyser. He didn't realize that
Oh
every
my
108
God.
minutes he was going to think about God. 808 milliseconds.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
So every 1.8 seconds.
So we have our Q&A. And remember, any similarities to you or anyone you may know within this Q&A is strictly coincidental.
Yeah, because these all come from our Google account number messages.
Yeah!
Yeah.
All right.
Is this one Clarissa?
Ethan writes in. Ethan says, "My friend died. Send me money. I'll give it to him." Bitch, what? What's the funeral home number? What's the heifer name? You can't just, hey,
Yeah,
my friend
that
died. This is my
sounds
cash
sketch.
app. No, I want your friend's cash app. I want the funeral home phone number. I want your loved one's social security number, their birth date, and the mother's maiden name. Bitch, why?
Hide your
Send-
daughters, hide your wives.
Shit, my friend
Oh,
died.
no.
Send me money. Bitch,
Right.
Go to a lawyer for pain and suffering. We don't do that here. We got enough pain and suffering with our stupid podcast and only 3 people watch. And those 3 people all work with Nick. Because when I went in there the other day, I felt like a celebrity.
Yeah, they mobbed her. They all mobbed her and wanted to make out with her. It was pretty hot.
Oh my God, I loved it. But so there are our 3 people that watch because Eric said only 3 people watch this podcast, and they all 3 work with Nick. Thank you, ladies.
Wait a minute, Ethan. Ethan said that.
No, Ethan said my friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, Ethan said that. So Ethan, fuck off. So,
Yeah. Fuck off, Ethan.
Bertha writes, how do I drop a temporary protection order?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Oh no, that's
Depending
easy. Go to work or go to court on Monday.
It depends on what state you're in too.
Louisiana.
Louisiana. Oh, it'll be easy to drop a temporary protection order. Yeah.
Yeah, go to court on Monday. See what they have to say about that temporary protection order. Okay.
So Lafayette Parish. Lafayette.
Baton
Rouge.
We go get some baguettes, some beignets.
Oh, here's another one. We've got
Go ahead, you read this one.
Aaron from Huron, Ohio.
No, he's from Louisiana.
Oh, wait a
They're
minute.
all from Louisiana.
Oh, okay.
People in Louisiana just love
so
us.
these must have been the top.
These are the Love
last
Shack lovers of Louisiana, guys. We all know who this is.
Aaron, how do you get tear stains off of pillows? Well, Aaron, just go to court on Monday.
On Monday.
The tears will stop.
They'll stop. Or they won't. Or you'll cry them with your cellmate
Right, and you
for
could
breaking your TPO.
and you could sell them to
With Bertha.
Cartman. Cartman loves salty tears.
Mm-hmm. No, that's my salty tears.
Yeah.
Okay. Regina writes, tell me again how you told Melissa how to kill her husband. Regina!
We can't
We can't.
talk about that story.
I never said that I told someone how. Regina, what I had said is when they tell you, like if you on fire, they usually tell you to stop, drop, and roll, correct? You ain't got to stop, drop, and roll. If you don't, you're going to burn the fuck up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if someone's in your presence and they be a bad
in
person.
a dumpster fire, you don't have to pee on it.
Yeah, you don't have to piss on the dumpster fire, man. You don't have to roll them on the side if they're choking on the puke. That's all I gotta say.
Goodness gracious.
All right, now. Okay, this last question here.
This is going to be something most of our viewers and listeners
Can relate to.
totally relate to. I was funny even before we got this message talking about some of this already. So that's even funnier.
So I got a phone call from a friend. We all knew who that friend was. Brittany. Brittany, remind me, we're going to tell the Brittany 420 story. Because I got a doozy. Brittany 420 story.
Is this the one where she boofed it in her booth?
She didn't have to boof nothing in her booth. She was boofiful enough just to where they wanted.
Okay.
Child, y'all are gonna think this story is made up, but but anyway. So let's start with this, and we'll end with the Brittany 420. So a friend.
It's Brittany, bitch.
Yeah, it's Brittany, bitch. It's my friend Brittany. She called me. She is menopause. She old as
I'm
hell.
sorry, I'm not laughing at that.
She old as
But
hell.
I am.
And she's got this shit called boob sweat. We all get it. We all get it.
I
And
don't
she
have
said,
any
"Oh my
yet."
God, not yet. It's awfully cool. It's very cool in here right now.
Oh, right there's a little tiny bit.
It's starting to poke through. But that,
Feels like 90
it tits
already.
what it tits. So she's tried deodorant, and what should she do to help combat boob sweat? And I said,
Loomy!
sucks. Remember?
Mm. Oh, or you could try Dr. Squatch Castaway Bay.
Ooh, I like
My
Dr.
armpit
Squatch.
smells like I put coconut deodorant on that almost covers up my funk but doesn't.
Almost. I have to reapply. I keep deodorant in my because I'm elderly and I sweat a lot. So menopause is a funny thing. I am only 44 years old, and my body wanted to take me through menopause at 29. And my doctor said, here, let's put you on this and bring you out of it. And we did. It happened to started happening again with whatever it was, because I can't remember because I'm old. With whatever it was that I was on, my body started being like that again. Like, no, we're done. And she's like, okay, now we're going to try this. And then I'm like, no, I don't want to.
Did you do the bat semen thing?
Something. I think it might have been aardvark.
Aardvark.
Aardvark liver enzymes or some shit.
But it was concentrated.
Concentrated under the tongue type shit.
Okay.
And finally, when I was like 38, because I had let it go, I would have sporadic periods show up, but I was still having them. And then I get to like 38.
Were they like the scary kind where you're at Kings Island, you have a white pants, and then you look
That's
down?
only happened to me like one time, but
Okay.
I fell in a mud puddle directly after that happened, so I could never tell if they could tell that I was bleeding or not, because I literally, when I realized that I started, I got off the bus to go home, or got on the bus to go to school, and I got off the bus to go into the school, and I realized taking a step down, that little feeling that you get, and you just know that it's there, and I'm like, fuck. And right when I had that thought, I took like 3 steps and fell into a mud puddle, so the mud kind of, and I had to call my grandma like, hey, and she's like, you just want me to bring you clothes? I'm like, no, I'm done for the day. Done for the day, bitch. Come get me.
That's trauma.
Like if you're coming, I'm going back with you. You ain't bringing me clothes.
Right, the rest of the day, yeah. The rest of the day, you gotta fucking be like, yeah, because you know how teenagers are. Why'd you change your pants, Tammy?
I fell in a mud puddle, bitch.
Are
right
you
after I
sure
started
it
my
was
period.
mud? Because it looked like you shit yourself. And you always remember the worst things. You can take this stuff.
I know the traumatic things. So
the things I remember from 35 years ago.
Finally, when I was 40, I told my husband, I was like, look, I'm not fucking doing this to myself anymore. I'm just gonna let my body write it out. I'm 44. I haven't had a period since I was 40. So I am well beyond, like, I'm post-menopausal, but my God, the torture to get post-menopausal. And yes, you can be post-menopausal in your 40s. My body is just a little fucked up.
Is it possible that I'm post-menopausal?
I think you're just going into it.
Okay.
You haven't had enough mental breakdowns yet.
Oh, I did. I just keep them silent like a real...
Okay, well
like
then you might want to start checking your ovulations.
I ovulate quite regularly, sometimes 5 times a day.
You might want to donate that.
You
So,
should. That'd be a good way to make money.
so listen, anonymous friend, I got you because I had told you that I had got you. So every night, well, right before you go to the bed, you're going to get you a bandana or something of that nature, and you're going to get it wet, and you're going to put it in the freezer. And before you go to bed, you're just going to tie that shit around your neck a little bit. If you can, not enough to where you feel like you're being choked by a weak midget all night, but...
One of those Illuminati trucks went by again.
Oh, shit. So, but just enough to cool yourself. There's that. But
I thought you were going to say, like, tied around your cunangelo.
hold on, you're getting ahead of yourself.
Okay. I was going to say, because that would work, too.
So, this is going to blow your mind, and my friend's going to be like, why the hell didn't I think of that? So, when we had babies, we had these pads that were given to us after we had pushed them out of our Virginias.
Are they like super pads?
Because your Virginia gets really angry when you have a child. Like,
So
it almost grows teeth.
Right, it's like a runny nose that just
Won't stop, and then you have to call somebody via Cash App, tell them to wipe the sumbitch so we don't have to look at it. So, what you're gonna do, anonymous friend, You're going to go get you some panty liner maxi pads, however thick you can stand it, because you're going to be sweating that boob sweat anyway. So this is going to help in 2 areas. It's going to absorb your titty sweat, and it's going to cool off the titties.
Right, because it'll
And
be
she's
there.
like, oh, do tell. How are you going to do both, best friend? I mean, Mama Kay. I'm going to tell you. You're going to take 2 maxi pads, and you're going to pour a little bit of water on them. You're going to put them motherfuckers in the freezer. And then, before you start, when you're like, okay, this is around the time where my titties start sweating, let me go to the freezer and get them. Or, you know, if you have to work, put them in an ice bucket
titty
and like,
pads,
yeah,
scooter
put
pads.
ice bucket.
Would it
and
work on your Snapdragon too? Oh, yeah.
It worked after we had babies. And then you just peel them and you stick them to the inside of your bra. And it's going to catch your titty sweat and it's going to cool your titties. Well, there shouldn't be any titty sweat.
What if you are a guy that has titties and don't wear a bra?
This is a menopausal question. You need to handle the men. And I'll pause.
Just take your shirt off and sit in front of a fan. I guess.
Yeah.
Since there's no way to attach it.
So I will. We can leave you guys with this lovely story of my best friend that I absolutely love telling this story. My friend Brittany is stunningly beautiful and always has been.
Picture it, Sicily, 2011.
Let me do it the proper way. Okay. All right. Let's. Picture it, Fairborn, Ohio, 2001. Myself, my best friend Brittany, and my dead gay brother. He wasn't dead back then, because wouldn't that be weird? No, he was alive and in the backseat of the car.
He was not a vampire.
Not yet. So we was on our way to a nursing home in which my father was there doing rehabilitation after brain surgery. On the way there, now let me preface this by saying, because her family, they love Jesus, my friend never touched the Mary Jane that I'm about to.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, she wouldn't do it. I tried to peer pressure her. She didn't do it. But you always knew I was the bad influence
Didn't
friend.
she know that Jesus Christos created it for everyone?
But the thing is she was getting ready to. She was getting ready to marry somebody, and there was so much.
Some Pentecostalism going on up in that.
Anyway, so we go and we visit my father, who, my dad didn't like any of my friends, but she was the pick of the litter. Like, she was there when he passed away. Like, she was there.
He liked her.
He loved her.
Okay.
And he didn't like nobody. So on our way up there to visit my dad, we had, between my brother and myself, we had ingested all of our marijuanas. And we was broke. We was so broke. So.
And OnlyFans was not out yet.
Not yet, not quite.
It was 2001.
This is the equivalent. This could be the equivalent.
224 date?
This could be the equivalent. Without nudity, actually.
Okay.
So, we're leaving, and we're going down the main drag. And do you know where the, used to be a restaurant, like a country restaurant, like not like a Longhorn, but some kind of restaurant along those lines on that main drag. And me and my brother was bitching because we didn't have anything, and she's like, I am so tired of hearing you two talk about how you don't have any more pot because you guys smoked it all. And I'm like, well, what are we going to do, Brittany? We don't have any money. She's like, oh, I'll find you some pot. And I shit you not.
Walked into a kitchen of a restaurant.
She's sitting in the passenger seat, and she's watching every car go by. She's like, slow down. What the fuck is she doing? Slow down! I'm like, okay. Finally, she's like, follow that car. So I get up next to this car. She rolls her window down, motions for them to do so as if she's going to ask if they got any fucking Grey Poupon.
I'd be like, I do.
These two young kids, well, They weren't young kids back then. They were not much younger than we were, but I'm elderly now, so these young kids roll their window down, and she's like, "Hey, y'all got any weed?" And they're like, "Pull over." And I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "You heard the man, pull over." She's like, "I'm tired of hearing both of you." And I'm like, "You're going to get us shot." So we pull over in the parking. Look at me. So we pull over.
Oh, God, I've done shit like this before. I already know.
We go in the parking lot, and they get there first, and they're in a parking spot. We pull up behind them. Because if you're going to do something, you're not getting out. Like, I blocked you in. Like, I'm smart. I think. I followed you into this parking lot, but you ain't going nowhere if you fuck with me. So, the dude gets out of the car on the passenger side, walks to the door, and says, "Well, what do you want?" And she's like, "The problem is we don't have any money." And he goes, "Can I get your phone number?" And she's like, "You absolutely can get my phone number." And he's like, "Hold on." He comes back, hands her a piece of paper. She writes down a phone number. I don't know fucking whose. It wasn't hers. Hands it back to him. To everything that is holy, he says, "Hold your hand out." And she goes like this. And he's like, No. Hold your hands out. And she's like, he puts like a half ounce in her fucking hands. Says, "I'll be calling you." And walks away. And as soon as his back turns, she's like, "Drive, bitch!"
That's so frightening because...
And he did not ask for nothing in return other than her phone number. And she gave him some, because like I said, she's getting ready to get married. And the whole freaking way home, she's sitting there like,
I'm the shit. I know.
I was like, man, I'm so glad my best friend beautiful. Because if my glass would have stuck my head out the window, they'd have been like, get your, the fuck, bitch, fuck. So the whole way back, we're like trying to get her to smoke some with us. She's like, no, I can't. She didn't. But the whole way, me and my brother just kept going, oh my God. Oh my God. Like, how did that literally just happen? Like, and it was good too. And she was tired of hearing you guys bitch about it. Y'all wouldn't smoke it. And then she got us a half ounce just by being pretty and sticking half her fucking body out the...
We had a friend just like that. Well, we still have a friend just like that. We would go hang out at the car wash on Gettysburg. It's the same in whatever part or whatever town you're in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And she would just walk up to people and be like, "Hey, what's up?" Blah 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 blah. That made me lift my shirt up and like twirl around to prove I wasn't a cop. Because that's back when people thought like,
oh yeah,
if you're a cop, you're gonna be wired. And it's like, yeah, no. But anyway.
No, witnesses are wired.
So we'd go there and pretend like we were there to wash my car. And then go talk to people and get stoned. Go to some badass donut place right next door.
Man, donut sounds really good. Oh, by the way, yes, Eric, I have gained weight. But it's just not as bad as you using the TikTok filters to slim your face all the way to where you look like that shrunken head motherfucker from Beetlejuice. And it's the Puff Up Unicorns podcast. Hey, we love all 3 of our listeners.
Thank you. We love you.
Whoops.
Oh. Yay. Bye. Bye.
Wait till you see the earrings I have next week.
Ooh, I'm a little moody.
This is their moo count.
Oh, as my foot's like.
I can't wait. Like, I'm going to have a whole outfit next week, bitches.
Yay!